I sat on the floor, scrubbing the marble tiles of the very hall I paid for. A group of young, socialite charity recipients walked by, laughing as they deliberately spilled their expensive champagne on my work. "Careful, old man," one of them sneered. "You wouldn't want to get your dirty clothes on our designer shoes. Just do your job and keep your mouth shut." They didn't know that the very trust funds that paid for their cars, their clothes, and their lavish lives were signed by the hands they just insulted. They thought I was a nobody, a ghost in a blue uniform. They didn't realize that while they were busy mocking my poverty, I was busy preparing to revoke their future. Welcome to Revenge Insight. This is the story of the invisible benefactor. Martha Sterling was a woman of immense wealth, but she was also a woman of immense wisdom. After her husband passed away, she became the sole controller of the Sterling Foundation, an organization that provided massive trust funds to promising young leaders in orphanages. But Martha had a rule. She believed that you could only truly understand a person's character by seeing how they treated those who could do nothing for them. Every year, Martha would spend 6 months undercover. She didn't stay in her penthouse. She worked as a janitor at the Sterling Center, the very building she owned. She wore a simple blue uniform. She tied her hair back, and she carried a mop instead of a briefcase. She wanted to see where her money was going. She wanted to see if the people she was helping actually deserved the life she was giving them. Most years, she found kindness. But this year, she found a den of vipers. The current group of charity recipients was known as the Golden Circle. They were 10 young men and women, mostly from the city's prestigious orphanages, who had been selected for the Sterling Trust. This trust provided them with a luxury apartment, a monthly allowance of $10,000, and a full university scholarship. They were meant to be the future of the city, but instead, they had become a nightmare, led by a girl named Brianna and a boy named Victor. The group had grown arrogant. They spent their days in the center's lounge, bragging about their latest shopping sprees and mocking the staff. They treated the waiters and the cleaners as if they were subhuman. Martha watched them from behind her mop, her eyes sharp and observant. She saw the way Brianna would roll her eyes when a waiter was a second too late with her latte. She saw the way Victor would leave his trash on the floor, just to watch a janitor pick it up. The seeds of revenge were planted. The final straw happened on a Friday afternoon. Martha was cleaning the main gallery, preparing for the foundation's annual gala. The Golden Circle arrived, already half drunk on expensive champagne. Brianna walked toward Martha, a cruel smile on her face. She deliberately tilted her glass, pouring the sticky, expensive liquid onto the floor Martha had just polished. "Oh, look at that. A mess for the maid," Brianna laughed, her friends joining in. Martha didn't say a word. She simply looked down at the floor. "Clean it up, old woman," Victor barked, stepping on Martha's hand as she reached for a towel. "And try to do a better job this time. You smell like ammonia and failure. It's embarrassing for us to even have to look at you." Martha felt the sting of his boot on her hand, but she didn't cry out. She simply looked Victor in the eye and whispered, "Character is what you do when you think no one is watching." They laughed and walked away, unaware that their golden life was about to turn to lead. Martha spent the next 48 hours in her real office, high above the city. She reviewed the expenses of the Golden Circle. She saw thousands of dollars spent on nightclubs, designer bags, and luxury car rentals. None of them had attended their classes in over 3 months. They were using the foundation's Trust for Excellence as their personal playground. Martha's lawyer David stood across from her. "They have violated every clause of the agreement, Martha," David said, handing her the audit. "They have treated the staff with cruelty, they have failed their academic requirements, and they have misappropriated funds. You can revoke the trust immediately." Martha looked at the photos David had gathered. Photos of Brianna mocking a homeless man outside the center, and Victor laughing as he vandalized a foundation vehicle. "No, David," Martha said, her voice like cold steel. "I don't just want to revoke it. I want them to realize exactly what they've lost, and who they lost it to." The foundation's gala was the event of the year. The Golden Circle arrived in rented tuxedos and gowns, thinking they were the stars of the night. They were looking for the great benefactor, the mysterious woman they had never met. They stood in the VIP lounge, sipping champagne and mocking the poor people who were serving them. Brianna was wearing a $5,000 dress she had bought with the foundation's emergency fund. "I wonder if that old janitor is here tonight," Brianna whispered to Victor. "I'd love to have her clean my shoes one last time before I become the CEO of this place." Victor laughed, adjusting his silk tie. "She's probably in the basement, eating leftovers. People like her are just ghosts, Brianna. They don't matter." The lights dimmed. The announcer's voice boomed through the hall. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder and CEO of the Sterling Foundation, Ms. Martha Sterling." The room went silent as a woman stepped onto the stage. She was draped in a midnight blue velvet gown, her silver hair styled in an elegant crown, her neck adorned with the sterling diamonds. She walked with a grace and power that commanded the entire room. Brianna's glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. Victor's mouth hung open. It was her. The janitor. The smelly old woman they had mocked. Martha looked directly into the VIP lounge, her eyes fixing on Brianna and Victor. "I have spent the last 6 months observing the next generation of leaders," Martha began, her voice resonant and absolute. "I have watched how they treat the invisible people. The ones who clean their floors, the ones who serve their food, and the ones who carry their trash. I have learned that some people are given a second chance at life, only to use it to become monsters of greed." Martha signaled to the large screen behind her. The room erupted in gasps as videos began to play. It was the hidden camera footage from the center. The room saw Brianna pouring champagne on the floor. They saw Victor stepping on Martha's hand. They saw the Golden Circle laughing as they mocked the very foundation that had saved them. The shame in the room was palpable. "As of 5 minutes ago," Martha announced, her voice cold as ice, "the Golden Circle Trust has been officially revoked. All apartments have been locked. All credit cards have been canceled. And every cent that was misappropriated will be pursued as a criminal theft." Brianna tried to shout, to apologize, but she was drowned out by the boos of the audience. Security moved into the VIP lounge, and for the first time in their lives, the Golden Circle was being treated like the trash they had once mocked. The downfall was total. Because Martha had filed criminal charges, Brianna and Victor couldn't even find a job at a fast food restaurant. Their reputations were destroyed. Within a week, Brianna was seen at a pawn shop, trying to sell the $5,000 dress for $100 to pay for a bus ticket. Victor was evicted from his luxury apartment and ended up in the very state-run shelter he used to laugh at. They tried to beg Martha for mercy. They waited outside her office for days. When Martha finally walked out, flanked by her security team, Brianna fell to her knees. "Please, Miss Sterling. We were just young. We didn't know it was you." Martha stopped and looked down at her. "That's the problem, Brianna," Martha said softly. "You only show respect when you think someone has power. True character is how you treat the people who have none. You didn't fail me. You failed yourselves." Martha didn't close the trust. She reorganized it. She selected 10 new recipients, people she had met during her undercover months. They were the quiet ones, the ones who helped her move the heavy trash cans, the ones who asked her if she had eaten lunch, the ones who saw the human being beneath the blue uniform. They weren't Golden Circle. They were the heart of Sterling. She gave them the same opportunities, but with a new condition. Every month, they had to spend one day working alongside the janitorial staff. They had to learn the value of labor and the dignity of service. Martha watched them flourish, not into arrogant socialites, but into genuine leaders who understood that the foundation of a building is only as strong as the people who keep it clean. Years later, Martha sat in her private garden, the same one where she used to pull weeds as a janitor. She was no longer undercover, but she still wore the simple blue scarf she had kept from her uniform. The new recipients would often come to visit her, not to ask for more money, but to ask for her advice. She looked at her hand, the one Victor had stepped on. The scar was gone, but the lesson remained. Justice hadn't just been served, it had been a masterclass in humility. Martha had turned her wealth into a mirror, and the people who looked into it had either seen their own beauty or their own ugliness. She closed her eyes, the peace of the evening surrounding her. The smelly old woman had built a legacy that would last long after the diamonds had faded. Justice was served, and the invisible benefactor was invisible no more. Thank you for watching this story of resilience and the ultimate reckoning on Revenge Insight. Martha Sterling's story is a powerful reminder that you should never judge a person by the uniform they wear, because you never know whose hand is holding the pen to your future. What did you think of Martha's undercover revenge? Was she right to revoke the trust funds, or should she have given them a warning first? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you believe that character and integrity are the true measures of wealth, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more epic stories of justice. Stay wise, stay strong, and always respect the hands that work. Until next time.